Hello and welcome to Curriculum Week. Is there a better week? I don't think so. I don't think that there is a better week than Curriculum Week. I love new curriculum. It's like Christmas. It really is. When all the new stuff starts rolling in, it just makes me so happy. We are pretty well into our school year already, and I am super behind on getting these videos up and posted, but that's okay. I took a break from YouTube and now I'm back. So there you go. Okay, water. Too much talking. Okay. So we are going to talk today about our group subjects. Now, first of all, if you're new, hi, my name is Brittany. I have 4 children that I am currently homeschooling. I have a 10th grader, a 3rd grader, a 1st grader, and a preschool / K4 grader. I guess that's how you would say that. So when I say group subjects, what I am specifically talking about is my bottom 3 kids. My high schooler does most of his stuff on his own. I will show you some of the stuff that he does with us because I am going to include our group subjects plus what's in our devotional basket. And then I will tell you a little bit about a plan I am having that I am putting together for our devotional time. And I'm hoping it goes as I see it in my mind. We'll see. So let's get into it. So first of all, we have started Everything is New, and I'm very excited about it. Like I said, we are 4 weeks in so far, and I'm very happy with everything that we have so far. The first thing that I'm very happy about that I have been wanting to try, that I've been putting off trying, is Biblioplan for history. So I am doing Biblioplan a little bit differently because I put it off for a really long time because all of the stuff is so expensive. The book itself was not bad. It was reasonable. I could swing how much that cost, but all of the packets that went with it, if you bought everything, it ended up being, I think, $250 to $300 for 1 year. And that was just a lot of money because we've always done group history. So maybe if you were used to something like BJU where you are paying individually for each student, it wouldn't be so bad. But because I had always purchased one book and maybe a companion guide, like we did Story of the World last year and we used the companion guide with it. And so, but all in, that I think was like $40. So I couldn't afford to do the entire thing because it was just too much with having 4 kids and all of our other curriculum. Okay, crisis averted. So you may be asking, how then are we doing Biblioplan if we just have book? Well, we are doing it more of a Charlotte Mason kind of style. And when I say that, I mean we're literally reading the book and talking about it. That's all that we do is we sit, we read, and we'll do narrations. What I have been trying to do, because this is kind of how I handled Story of the World, is I kind of scan a little bit what we're going to be reading about, and I will pull maybe a video off of YouTube or something like that that I think that they may enjoy, or I might go find some pictures or a map or a coloring page that I can find online to give them something to do to kind of add a little bit more depth to it. But really, I felt like I had to do that with Story of the World. I don't feel like I have to do that as much with Biblioplan because it's just so good. And I was really worried. Somebody had said there was a lot of reading. I know if you get the companion guide, I don't know what it's called, but it's the lesson plans. They have extra books that are not recommended, but suggested reading that you could do, some read alouds. And I suppose if maybe you pulled in the read alouds and then I think they have like a Bible reading plan or something for some of it for ancients. I suppose if you did it all of that, it would be a lot. But how I have done it, I have written in the front, we're doing it 3 days a week. We read 3.5 pages 3 times a week. I have timed it and it takes us 15 to 20 minutes. If my kids aren't chatty, which my kids are always chatty. If my kids aren't chatty, it'll maybe take us 15 minutes. It normally takes us about 20 minutes to do our history 3 days a week. This is the history for junior readers. And they have one for high school, but we are mainly just doing it with my younger kids. And I will have my high schooler sit in on it because there's good discussion that can be had. He's studied medieval times, which is the time period that we are doing right now. And so he may have some opinions, some insights to share that he has learned, and some tidbits. And he picks up stuff from it too that he didn't know also. So I don't have any questions or anything that they do. They literally just do a narration. We do verbal narrations with that age group. As they get older, we will start doing more formal narrations. Normally what I do for history is I will have them do a written narration as they age up. But right now we're just doing verbal narration. For science, once again, buying partial curriculum here. We are a very eclectic homeschool, and I tend to have some Charlotte Mason leanings that I love, some things that I've taken from Charlotte Mason that I really appreciate, like narration, and I have done away with a lot of the busy work. So I decided to try out the textbook portion of BJU for science. I grabbed 3rd grade because my oldest younger kid is in 3rd grade, and so I figured we could read at his level and the other kids could just participate. I almost wish I would have gotten the 4th grade, but they're still learning a lot from this and they are really enjoying it. So we are, once again, we are reading it. If there is something that they have, you know, like we are going to do, we just got to some of the planets and they have a project. They do have a project like making a solar mobile. And so I will probably look up on Pinterest some of the things on how to do that. And just putting in projects that we could possibly do from Pinterest and having just good discussion, finding videos. We are, part of what we do with our group subjects is I incorporate a lot of songs. So we have done the memory work where they have memorized all of the planets. I am working to try to get them to recognize them just by pictures so that they can see a planet and know which planet we're talking about. So how we are using this book is that we will just read, they have it broken down into lessons. We will just read a lesson and then do a verbal narration on it. And if it's a project, we might do the project, we might not. We are alternating our history and our science. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do history. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do science. I have some stuff in my basket that I'm still trying to figure out how I want to incorporate. I want to incorporate them, they're extras, but I have yet to figure out a good way to do it. I have a couple of missionary stories that I want us to go through. We have been trying to get through The Bandit of Ashley Downs, which is about George Mueller, and I'm wanting to put this on a rotation with some of our other stuff. We also have the Tuttle Twins series that we haven't gone through with my younger kids. I have a book of poetry, which is a child's treasury of verse in here. And I also have Window on the World, which is a prayer guide for children to pray for the world. I'm thinking I want to put these things kind of on some kind of a rotation. I'm still thinking about that. We've been so busy with just so many other things that I haven't actually put it into place. And so I'm hoping as we get into our schedule better solidified, I can incorporate them a little bit better. One of the things we are going to do this year, I actually found this for a steal. I got the entire Magic Tree House Merlin missions, the entire series for $10. It's 24 books. And so this is something I'm wanting to do with my younger kids. I'm trying to figure out where to plug it in. That's another thing is I love read alouds, but I have always struggled to incorporate them consistently. It's something I feel very passionate about this year though. It's something I am very focused on trying to do more because I truly believe if children are read to, they will start to love reading more because they will hear the story. And as somebody who loves to read, I want my children to love to read. And so I'm going to really push read alouds this year. Something else that we are trying for my older kids, so my 3rd grader and my high schooler, I bought this English grammar recitation book. I am, like I said, very eclectic in my homeschooling. I have some things, if I could be a purist in any form, I would be classical homeschooling. I love classical homeschooling. I feel like classical takes everything I love about Charlotte Mason and gives me the really good rigor that I would want to see in school. But it's so intensive that I don't think I can consistently implement it in a home base with all of my children and still keep up on everything I have to do. So what I do is pull the things that I really love. So one of the things that I really appreciate is this grammar recitation, which if you have ever done catechism with your kids, which is another thing I'm going to talk about, this is kind of like catechism style for grammar. It is, what that means if you aren't experienced with catechism, it's a question answer format. And so there is like book 1, this would be where you would start, is, what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words expressing a complete thought. That is literally all you do. You do one question at a time. Once they get the question, you move on, and then you review the questions that they already know. And so then you just kind of plug that into a schedule, so that way you're reviewing consistently the grammar principles that they need to know in order to write good papers and to speak well and all of that good stuff. So my plan is for kids, as they get to 3rd grade, we will do grammar recitation. Hopefully you can follow me. I have a tendency to squirrel all over the place. I am sorry. I mean, I'm not, but I am. Like, I hope you can follow me. Anyway, so moving on to devotions. How we have our devotions set up is we start each morning with World Watch News. That is a current events from a biblical perspective for kids. And it's about 10 minutes long. It is a subscription base, but it's fairly affordable, and it is incredible. It has been such a blessing in our home to really kind of get us thinking more about what is going on outside. I think that's kind of how I'm going to plug in the window on the world as we see things, and we're talking about areas like they were just talking about the election in Venezuela. We can look up Venezuela, we can look up, what their life is like, and find some prayer points to be praying for that specific country. And it's just been really good to give them some idea of what's going on in the world without them being exposed to some of the things that maybe we don't want them to be exposed to. After we finish World Watch News, we normally do this over breakfast. We will move into our Bible. We will read just about half a chapter in whatever book we're currently reading through and just discuss it. And then we move on to our catechism. And here's my very rough catechism book. This is put out by Founders Press. It is the Truth and Grace Memory Book. It's book 1. They look very different if you look for this on Amazon now. Just look for Founders Press Truth and Grace Memory Book, or tag. I think it also is called a tag book. These are great if you have never done any kind of memory work with your kids. Honestly, they have some that have the older catechism. I think that technically you're supposed to use this, I think, till you go up to 4th grade. It goes up through 4th grade, and then once they get to 4th grade, you're supposed to move up. And I believe the next book has the Heidelberg Catechism, and then some really big sections of memory work. Now, personal opinion, take it for what it is. I think that this one, you could do this with your kids all the way through high school, and they would know more doctrine than most people in the church. And that's what we do. I have, even my 10th grader is finishing up this catechism. I think he's about halfway through this catechism, and he will just complete this, and I'm happy with that. I don't feel like he needs to have this big long answer to the question. We do so much Bible and so much study on doctrine in other ways. Plus, we're in a really solid church that teaches a lot of this stuff also. I don't feel like he needs to have the Heidelberg memorized. I'm okay with that. So how we do this is we do 5, each kid has 5 review questions that they go over, and then they go over their 1 new question. I keep track of this in my planner, what questions that they just did. So if my, 3rd grader did question 1 through 5 plus his new one, tomorrow he would do 6 through 10 plus his new one. The next day he would do 11 through 15 plus his new one. And we would just cycle like that to keep them fresh on the stuff they've already learned and to work on the new stuff. It's not rocket science, but it works really well. We kind of take a similar approach to our memory verses. I have no system whatsoever. I pick a verse that we want to work on, and then I've got a card holder, and I write it on a note card, and I stick it on the front. And what we'll do, like currently we're working through the 10 Commandments, and so I have those are my new ones that I pull out. We'll go over that, and then I will pick 3 review ones, and we'll read through those. I'll tell them, like this is Genesis 1:1, which is why it's so beaten up. We've had that one in forever. So Genesis 1:1, then I'll tell them, then we'll go over the verse, and Genesis 1:1, and it goes back to the back. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7, and then we say the verse, and 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7 goes to the back. And then we just cycle through. It doesn't have to be complicated. Memory verses don't have to be complicated. I know like Simply Charlotte Mason makes a box and like this formal, you do this one on this day and this one on, that's too much work for me. This works just fine. Okay, and then the last thing is the only thing I think that I am not loving when it comes to our devotions and our group subjects. And I don't want to, my 10th grader is trying to encourage me, Mom, don't give up on things so quickly, because I tell him that all the time. And so I want to kind of stick it out just to see, but I don't love it so far. So, and that's Bible doctrine for older children. You're going to have to excuse the broken. I got it for $8. It was on Thrift Books for $8. And I'm like, grab that, because it's normally like 30 or 40. So we're not very far into this. I'm not loving exactly how it's written, but I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I just want something more simplistic. It has a lot of, what I don't like about it is it has a lot of extra stuff in it, and it makes it look very complicated. And I just want something a little bit more simplistic. Like, clearly I'm very simple in my stuff. I don't want it overly complicated. And so, which leads me into my last thing that I was going to talk about that I am thinking about putting together. I am thinking about putting together my own devotional pack that would cover all of our memory work that we are currently doing, plus kind of a snippet of systematic theology at the very end of our devotional. So I'm trying to put that together. If I am able to, I'll show y'all what that ends up looking like. And then that would go, but this would go by the wayside. I would probably use this to get some ideas on how to verbalize some of the things, because trying to bring it down to a child's level can be tricky. But that's where I will probably pull from that, and then just some other study material that I do have. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about before I close this video is our memory work that we do that is more fun. I do it with my elementary school kids. We do a lot of things in song. If I can find a song for it, we're gonna do it in a song. Most of my kids like that. I have one in particular who's a little resistant, but they put up with it. So how I do my songs is we will generally go over a couple of skip counting songs, which Hopscotch puts out a lot of really good skip counting songs. Hopscotch also puts out a lot of good, like we'll do the oceans or the continents and the planets and even the dwarf planets, things like that. We'll normally pick one of those. We'll do Shai Lin's Gotta Know the Books for the books of the Bible. We have a creation song that talks about memorizing the days of creation, Fruit of the Spirit song. So we will put I have a rotation going with those on different things that we'll listen to with that. And my favorite memory work that we have been doing has been Classical Conversations Timeline Song. It has been so enriching to do with history because they can start getting it. They hear the things that we've been singing about and they're like, oh yeah, I remember that, and that's where this is. And so I have printed off, I don't have anything with Classical Conversations. I just have, so I have the timeline list, and I have week 1, you know, it goes all the way through. So we're currently in week 9 because we were in the Middle Ages. I will link the videos that we use for the timeline song in the description box. I have one video that I like that we use that has the entire song. And then there is somebody here on YouTube, I don't think she puts content out anymore, but she has all of the sign language motions. So not only is it a song, but it has hand motions to it too. And so that's how they remember so much of it. So even my little 3-year-old is over here doing the hand motions and singing the song. But that is everything that we do together for our homeschool. It feels like it's a lot, but it's really not, because like I said, some of the stuff we haven't been able to fit in, and then some of the stuff we do like 5 minutes, you know, just short little snippets. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away in the comments. I'm happy to answer anything that you may be curious about. And if you are wanting to know specifically what each individual child is doing for their curriculum, stay tuned, because I will have the rest of that out throughout the rest of this week, possibly into next week a little bit, because I've got so many kids. So that's all I got for you. So until next time, bye.